Welcome to another edition of Red Meat, the first Obama inauguration edition of Red Meat. I'm Jim Geraghty, along with Mark Hemingway, coming to you from National Review Online's The Corner. And we'd like to begin by thanking the Obama administration for permitting us to continue to operate, even though our occasional deference from the ones, words and truths that were unveiled. As of noon Tuesday, life is better. The birds are singing. The sun is shining a little brighter, although maybe that's just the global warming getting to me. Mark, are you enjoying yourself? Is life good?
Well, actually, being that I live on Capitol Hill, within walking distance of the United States Capitol, I'm just relieved that everyone has finally gotten the heck out of my neighborhood. Of course, they left behind huge amounts of trash and, still closed roads and all kinds of other problems. But, I think I speak for a bipartisan coalition of Washingtons when I say, thank you for visiting. Please don't come again in numbers that large again anytime soon.
Good. Well, the Obama inauguration is continuing to usher in the new era of hope and change and the impending utopia. I was very pleased when the agenda item of immanentizing the eschaton was formally added. But adding to this, the unholy trinity of three nominees are running into a little bit of trouble on Capitol Hill, and I emphasize a little bit of trouble. Tim Geithner for Treasury, Hillary Clinton already confirmed for Secretary of State, and Eric Holder delayed a week, not really expected to run into anything more than pro forma problems there. Mark, my fear is that the Republican senators are starting to turn into the appendix of our political system. They once had a purpose, but they have long since passed that, and they're ultimately superfluous to the process. Cheer me up. Tell me there's something going on here. There's hope here.
Well, yeah, I wish I could cheer you up on this. I don't see any silver lining in terms of how the Republicans have acted with regard to these three nominees. Geithner in particular, he has not offered up any decent excuse for what happened. I mean, he's just said, oops, these things happen, and I'm sorry, you need more accountability there. As far as I can tell, he just decided he would grab an extra $30,000 that was laying around. Washington is a town where, believe it or not, some people can't make it on $150,000 a year. David Brooks describes this as status income disorder, where you're constantly around wealthy people, either on Wall Street or in Washington, and you want to be part of that class or whatever. So your mindset gets affected, and I think that's what happened here, as far as I can tell. He just decided he was going to take an extra $30,000, but he hasn't given me any reason to think otherwise. But the other thing is well, the one major objection to Geithner wasn't even brought up, which was simply that here's a guy that was head of the New York Fed, and as such greased the wheels for all these bailout deals. Even before everything blew up in everybody's faces last fall. So I don't understand why this hasn't been raised as a principled objection.
I like to think of it as an ingenious strategy to avoid scrutiny of his record at the Fed by bringing up the failure to pay taxes. It's you get out of one scandal by bringing up another. Bill Clinton was an expert at that strategy. I just want to take one point on the Hillary Clinton confirmation, which is actually, I'm not even the guy who was adamantly opposed to Hillary Clinton. But Hillary Clinton is going to be the Secretary of State, the nation's chief diplomat, while her husband is still allowed to collect donations from foreign governments and foreign individuals. And once a year, it'll be disclosed. And this is the deal that the Obama administration thought was okay. Dick Lugar, not a raving partisan, not a guy frothing at the mouth, said, you know what? If Hillary Clinton wants to be Secretary of State, maybe the Clinton Foundation should just live without foreign donations for the next 4 years. It struck me as an extremely reasonable restriction considering the circumstances. Yeah. And the Clintons said, no, that's too much to ask.
Well, and of course, there's no precedent for foreign donations influencing the Clintons' political decision.
Yeah, no.
I mean, haven't we seen this movie before?
You put the coin, the White House is like a subway. You put the coins in to open the doors. But anyway, the thing which is the point was that, one person, there were two votes against, Vitter and Cornyn, and John McCain objected to it. And John McCain came racing to the aid of the Obama administration, saying that it was time to put partisanship aside. And I'd like to take a moment to say to John McCain, John, I put in a lot of labor against your opponent and in generally supportive of your candidacy last year. Thanks for nothing, pal. Thanks for really, holding the hard line there. And thanks for verifying every critic who said McCain was going to be as bad as Obama. Because in this case, John McCain doesn't even want to recognize, oh, there's a legitimate issue here. Maybe the Secretary of State shouldn't have foreign checks coming to her household. Yeah. You get into the usual thing of, my opponents are partisan, I'm standing on principle, There's nothing reasonable. I am, patting himself on the back, and it's just one of those things where he just instantly, within a matter of months after losing the election, goes back to the thing that drives conservatives batty. And I'm kind of struck by the fact that, again, there's people on both sides should be bothered by the fact that nobody seems bothered by foreign, checks from foreigners going to the Secretary of State.
Yeah,
or her husband. Yeah.
It's like the Aesop fable. It's like being bitten by the snake.
Yeah.
You should have known better. In the John McCain Venn diagram, we've known for a long time that bipartisanship and being principled didn't exactly overlap. Certainly, I don't think that putting an emphasis toward bipartisanship in under a new presidency is at all a bad thing. But that doesn't mean that you don't forget the interests of your constituents and the American people in doing so.
Well, I feel the need to shift to a slightly brighter comment or brighter topic. And Mark, you had noticed this, and it's kind of interesting. The more you look around, the more you see it. The commoditization of the Obama phenomenon.
Well, I was out covering the actual inauguration by the Capitol, and I'm just running around, and it's just a sea of T-shirt stands and tchotchkes and everything else. I mean everything from clever to just absolutely garish and offensive. And I've never in my life quite seen a political cause that has generated this kind of commodification, and we saw this all throughout the presidential campaign as well. And my question is, now that he's president, when is this going to end? I would think that at some point it'd be a backlash, but I mean, I would have thought it would have been a backlash months ago.
Well, I love the way it's being used for completely non-political causes, like Pepsi now has advertising in the slogan. CBS promoting their comedies with the "Yes, we can make you laugh" routine, and the red, light blue, and dark blue color scheme of Obama ads and stuff.
I just want to tell Les Moonves right now that not even Obama can make 2.5 Men a good show. But carry on.
No, I'm looking at this and I'm kind of thinking, is this turning into the Macarena? Is this turning into this kind of, it's a fad. And before you know it, you're going to see it everywhere, and it becomes so ubiquitous that people tune it out.
Well, I certainly hope so, but I mean, there's so many things about Obama that I would think at this point would have rubbed people the wrong way, but he's still getting a free pass. There's just a great story in the Politico where he came down to the press room, and somebody asked him a substantive question about glaring omissions to his new ethics rules, and Obama immediately got irritated and said, how dare you ask me a tough question in the press room?
It's very much, I'm reminded of Dr. Strangelove, no fighting in the war room, gentlemen. And just like this, no asking questions in the press room. This isn't the place for that.
But Obama's done this through the entire campaign. Remember, but I've already answered like 8 questions, and why can't I eat my, just eat my waffle? And at some point do you think the press corps is going to resent this? But they don't.
Well, I mean, look, you look at the examples of Carney of Time Magazine, Douglas of National Journal, and various other folks. Maybe they just don't want to piss off a future employer.
Well, yeah. Well, there you go. Speaking of which, see that Matt Cooper from Time Magazine is the new Talking Points memo editor.
Perfectly reasonable. Nothing wrong with that. So anyway, and you know why we're not objecting? Because we're happy with the age of Obama. Anyway, so this is our first edition. You can tell that we're already grilling the red meat because there's no shortage of this. We will stick around as long as the Obama administration allows us, and we hope you will keep watching until the knock comes on your door. For Red Meat, I'm Jim Geraghty, along with Mark Hemingway. Thanks very much for watching.